You're just a simple, honest car washer. Yet, a single live-stream car wash has all the criminals trembling in fear. Whether it's a hit and run with fake plates, or a vehicle used as a tool for kidnapping, nothing escapes your meticulous cleaning. You've caught the attention of police and criminals nationwide. Just then, a beat-up van, looking like it rolled through mud, stumbles into your stop, wobbling with every turn. Your mouth twitches slightly the moment the van comes to a stop. A part falls off the chassis. Can't tell if it's a screw or something else. There's even a trail leading in from the road. A straight line of oil and rust. As soon as it stops, the side mirror drops to the ground. A man in his 30s gets out and slams the door. Xin Hao, right? Think you can get this clean? Let me tell you, this van is an old friend that's been with me for years. It's my buy. If you can't clean it, I'm going to ruin your reputation. As he says this, the viewers in your sheet trim are stunned. Is this van even worth washing? It shouldn't even be on the road. Damn, that's really low. Bringing a wreck like this to get washed? Even a scrapyard wouldn't take this junk. The viewers are furious. Are you bullying him? He's clearly here to cause trouble. You narrow your eyes. Sure enough, a fan sends a message in the chat. Brother Hao, this old guy is Wang Outyan, a big V influencer who leeches off everyone's fame. He's a professional provocateur who picks fights with anyone. Damn, this guy actually has fans, and plenty of them. Many streamers and bloggers, even celebrities have been harassed or targeted by him. He's disgusting, but you can't get rid of him. He's got too many brainless fans. He's like a local gang. You read your fans warning, your brow furrowing. The chat is filled with Wang's army reporting for duty. And kneel down, you little trash. You actually hate these so-called armies. Most of them are just immature kids who think they're tough, acting like they're in a gang, polluting the internet environment. And this guy's level of disgust goes far beyond that. You smile with a strange expression and say, I feel for you. Going through all this trouble to find a car like this. Wang Outyan cuts you off. Stop the nonsense. If I lose, I'll apologize in front of everyone and pay you 2,000 for the wash as compensation for your trouble. If you lose, you close your shop and quit streaming. If a car washer can't clean this, you don't need to be in business. You smile slightly, thinking, this idiot, I barely have to lift a finger, and I've already reached the limit of this industry. What do you have to fight me with? You pull out your high-pressure washer, polishing, rinsing, and drying in one. It even has an auto-skin feature to see where it hasn't been cleaned yet. It's very user-friendly. The only downside is it's not fully automatic. It requires manual operation to start. High-pressure water jets out from the nozzle. The front of the van looks like it's shedding a layer of skin. Black water flows down from the bottom of the van. Brothers, look at this rich chocolate sauce. Don't let it go to waste. A reward for the top donor. Your viewers are speechless, seeing you so relaxed. Brother Hao, are you really not worried at all? You aren't looking at the chat right now, but adjusting the angle to wash the body. But just then, a notification appears before your eyes. Female blood handprint on the door. Blood type, high sugar content, not suitable for consumption, risk of diabetes. You stare at the message, confused. What the hell? High sugar content? What the hell? Not suitable for consumption. Who's sick enough to eat this stuff? And isn't this prompt a bit too specific? Then, more information appears. Female high heel kick marks on the lower door. Size 37, door handle. Right hand fingernail scratch marks. Residual nail powder. You frown deeply. Something seems really wrong here. Blood handprints are understandable. Injuries, scratches, and high heel kicks are normal enough, but human fingernail scratches? That you can't understand. Who would scratch with their fingernails? You pause the rinsing, feeling suspicious. Seeing you stop. The viewers are annoyed. Don't stop. I just tuned in. My OCD is kicking in. Can you finish washing before opening the door? The body isn't even clean yet. You pull open the door without any preparation. The moment you smell the odor inside, you recoil instinctively. The thick, fishy stench almost pierces your brain. It's extremely pungent. Damn, bro, did you cook inside here? And that's a pretty heavy flavor. You turn to look at Wang Outyan, who is interacting with his fans on the side. Who cares if I cooked in there or not? If it were clean, would I bring it to be washed? Wang Outyan sneers impatiently, looking like a classic low-level villain. Whether you cooked or not is none of my business. But fresh chili oil, soy sauce, oyster sauce, paint, and such, all mixed together, that is my business. Your expression is strange, because another piece of information appears before your eyes. Quite a collection, huh? Don't tell me you accidentally spilled these. Even if you took a bath in these things inside, you couldn't get such a large, even, and complete coverage. Wang Outyan's face changes. He looks stunned, and the viewers are shocked. Wow, bringing an 18th hand van is bad enough, but adding extra ingredients? People shouldn't be this shameless. I've learned something today. Truly, for the sake of traffic, there's no limit to what they'll do. Hey, is this your first day knowing him? Never underestimate a person's lack of integrity. You watch him calmly, fishing for traffic. You can understand and accept it. Everyone's just trying to make a living. Strictly speaking, if you win, you benefit too. But this method is just disgusting. So even, so large, so complete. It couldn't have been spilled by accident. No wonder your fans call him a traffic leeching expert. He even takes his fans around to bully people. They really didn't wrong him. What do you want? Or are you afraid to wash it? This has nothing to do with being afraid. You're increasing the difficulty of the challenge. This car is far beyond the normal level of cleaning, so it's going to cost extra. Damn, extra money? That made me laugh. He caused this on purpose, so charging more is fair. In fact, this order shouldn't even be accepted, because it's clearly just to pick a fight and leech traffic. I know him too well. The viewers in the sheet trim hear you ask for more money, and think it's reasonable. Let me tell you, when I was broke, this car stayed with me for many years. As long as you can get it clean, I'll give you 5,000. Fine. Wang Outyan breathes a sigh of relief. He thought you were using this as an excuse to refuse. He doesn't care about the money. He cares about the traffic. In just this short time, his sheet trim has gone from 10,000 to over 30,000 viewers. That's right. Wang Outyan is also streaming. Outyan, you're generous, giving 5,000 for a car wash. If you ask me, this kid is just spoiled. He's just a car washer. Letting you wash the car is doing you a favor. Our Outyan is a super influencer, a famous big shot. Do you know how much traffic washing Outyan's car will bring you? As the saying goes, live streamer, live fans. Outyan's sheet trim is full of arrogance. You can't be bothered with the nonsense. You change the nozzle and start cleaning. The interior of the van, especially the seat cushions and backrests, is almost like dry cleaning. Xin Hao moves carefully, always paying attention to the details on the van. The prompts outside make you mutter to yourself. You glide the nozzle over the seat. The gray-black cushion looks like it was licked by a cow, turning completely white. Compared to the gray-black next to it, the difference is huge. Ah, refreshing. That's the stuff. Keep it up. Honestly, with this level of detail, I should go experience it sometime. The viewers feel a sense of satisfaction, a blessing for those with OCD. Xin Hao, however, can't be happy at all. His expression becomes increasingly grave. Another prompt appears. Driver's seat backrest. Female high heel kick marks, size 37. Full force, full coverage. Xin Hao pauses. He cleans without disturbing the marks. Then he turns to other areas. However, the next moment, another prompt appears. Under the seat, human dry blood. Blood has fused with the rust. Blood type, high sugar content. Back seat, female long hair. Based on color, elasticity, texture, and oiliness. This belongs to a girl who often dyes her hair, aged between 23 and 26, and likes to stay up late. Middle area, burlap fiber, human struggle marks. Seeing this information, Xin Hao's scalp tingles. He looks up. The inside of the van doesn't look like a car anymore, but a crime scene. Whether it's the blood or the kick marks, or even the hair, it could all be normal. Human blood could be from a nosebleed or a scratch. Kick marks and burlap fibers are also normal. But damn it, who can explain what human struggle marks means, combined with the information outside? Xin Hao has a bold guess in his heart, though it's a bit absurd. Bro, this car of yours isn't right. Are you sure it's yours? Xin Hao asks calmly. Nonsense, of course it's mine. What, you think it's a woman's? Are you going to do it or not? If not, then fulfill your promise. A car washer who can't even wash a car. I don't know how you have the face to run a stop. Wang Outyan sneers, trying to perform his own deadly rhythm. Well, if I say your car is too dirty and it needs 7,000, is that okay? No problem. Wang Outyan is quick and decisive. Xin Hao isn't hep pie at all. Instead, he feels a chill. 7,000? This beat-up van isn't even worth 7,000. I was naive. Truly naive. I thought you were just looking for trouble for traffic. I didn't expect you to be on another level, using the excuse of picking a fight to keep my attention entirely on the cleaning, while cleaning a crime tool in public. Is this a mockery of me or the police? Xin Hao sighs inwardly. Now he can be sure. This isn't a van at all. It's a mobile crime tool. Bold, high IQ. A high IQ, high-quality criminal. If he hadn't discovered it, the consequences would be unimaginable. The guy would just walk away, while he would have cleaned the evidence. What kind of crime? Would he be an accomplice? That's unclear. Xin Hao takes a breath, forcing himself to calm down. Even as a transmigrator, he's still just a normal person. To say he's not panicked at all would be a lie. What's going on? Why did you stop? Don't stop. Keep going. Damn. Looking at that half-clean seat, my OCD is acting up again. I know you guys want to act, but can you finish cleaning first? Xin Hao glances at the sheet trim. The number of viewers has reached about 10,000. It used to be stable at 3,000. Many viewers think this is a scripted act. After all, live streaming is full of tricks. Xin Hao doesn't care about the viewers' discussion. He looks deeply at Wang Outyan and says in a low voice, Bro, bringing a crime tool for me to clean. Should I say you're bold? Or did I kill your whole family? Risking exposure just to screw me over. Wang Outyan. Whether it's Wang Outyan or the viewers, everyone is full of question marks. Why can they understand every word, but not the sentence as a whole? What do you mean, crime tool? What do you mean, risking exposure? Ha ha ha, that's hilarious. Your excuse is perfect. Say one more word and I might believe you. Wang Outyan comes to his senses and bursts into laughter. Just to refuse this order and make the bet invalid. You're really something. The viewers react as well, so that's why he's refusing the order. Makes sense. What criminal would openly come to destroy evidence? Unless they're crazy. I don't believe it. Nonsense. If you can prove there's evidence of a crime in this car, I'll give you 10,000. Wang Outyan sneers. He's convinced the guy is just trying to scare him into leaving. Fine. Then everyone sees Xin Hao go to the front door. He pulls the metal gate down, and the interior goes dark. What are you doing? For some traffic and money. You aren't trying to kill me, are you? With so many people in the sheet trim. Wang Outyan's face changes. Xin Hao turns on the lights and pouts. Kill you? Damn it, I'm afraid you'll run away. The viewers laugh. So many new streamers have been ruined by this guy. He's even an expert at everything. All sorts of brainwashing. If he hasn't been to a pyramid scheme for 2.5 years, they wouldn't believe it. This guy needs to be taught a lesson. Then they see Xin Hao take something out of the equipment room that they've never seen before. It looks more like a camera. Just as they wonder what it is, a calm man catches their attention. The user has an official verification symbol. It's a police officer. That's an infrared rapid bloodstain detector. Professional equipment used by many police stations to track crime scenes. Good heavens, and it's the most advanced one. That thing costs at least 500,000. The viewers are shocked. Is the car wash industry this competitive now? Who the hell would think a simple-looking car wash shop would have this kind of equipment? And why would a car wash need this? Streamer, come clean, tell the truth. Do you have a side job? I suggest the streamer register this. Thanks for your cooperation. Life is getting better and better. Liaozhou Police Station Captain Wang has followed you. Just as the viewers are joking around, a prominent notification appears. Everyone, wait, we were just joking. You're playing for real? Xin Hao naturally sees the situation in the sheet trim and gives a helpless, bitter smile. Actually, when he checked the tools provided by the system earlier, he was pretty confused too. Take this bloodstain detector, for example. Is this something a proper car washer should own? He even asked the system, and the system's explanation left him speechless. Every car will have some kind of accidental injury or bleeding. Bloodstains are often hard to clean or hard to find. The rapid bloodstain detector can find and clean even dirt that the naked eye can't see. That's a strong reason. Wang Outyan looks at the equipment Xin Hao is holding. Arrogant as he is, he's a bit terrified now. Why does it look so much like a scene from a crime show? No matter how you look at it, this guy isn't right. Either he's a professional criminal, or he's a partner of the police. I know you're bad, but don't panic yet. Xin Hao smiles slightly and says slowly, 10,000, you said it yourself. Don't even think about watching. Oh cool, fine. Wang Outyan wants to be tough, but he really can't. Please, just get back to it. I still prefer the way you look just now, arrogant and unruly. You're not doing well. You need to stand tall. The viewers look at his pathetic state and don't know whether to laugh or cry. Where's your pride? Where's your arrogance? Xin Hao can't be bothered. He originally thought about calling the police, but it seems that's not necessary now. The police are already in the sheet trim. He takes the detector to the van door. Wang Outyan follows him like a step, looking like a bullied little wife. The number of viewers has reached over 10,000, and it's still skyrocketing. After all, washing a car and finding a crime tool is not something you see every day. It's a once-in-a-decade event. Everyone's eyes are glued to Xin Hao, afraid to miss any detail. Click. Bloodstain detection started. The ultraviolet light shines, and then everyone is stunned. The once ordinary, beat-up van has changed. It's become a bloody crime scene. There are 2 obvious blood handprints on the door, sparkling. ceiling. And inside, behind the driver's seat, a high heel footprint is very clear, especially the back seat area. As everyone knows, the van's seats can be moved, or even removed. It's covered in sparkling spots, covering almost half the area. That's splattered blood. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 500 prestige points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 1,000 prestige points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for gaining 2,000 prestige points. The system notifications keep ringing in Shin Hao's mind, but he has no time to worry about that right now, because the scene before him is too shocking for a normal person. How severe must the injury be to lose this much blood? My god, Brother Hao was right. Damn it. Where are Wang Outyan's fans? Come out and get hit. I don't mind if you're a fan of a brainless guy, but you're a fan of a criminal. The most critical thing is, he brought a crime tool to be cleaned, destroying evidence in public. How arrogant can he be? The Shi trim explodes. Everyone can't believe their eyes. Before, they thought it was a script, or that Shin Hao just didn't want to close the shop and was looking for an excuse, but now you're playing for real. Police, Captain Wang, please ensure your safety. The police had already set off 10 minutes ago. Oh, Shin Hao nods seriously. If he didn't have his grappling skills, he wouldn't have dared to expose it publicly, because he couldn't guarantee that once exposed, the other party wouldn't get angry, lose his mind, and try to kill him. Wang Outyan looks at the scene with a blank stare and sits on the ground. Shin Hao feels a flash of doubt, but doesn't think much of it. This car isn't mine. Just as the viewers are cursing Wang Outyan and Shin Hao is on guard, the guy suddenly wakes up and says loudly. Shin Hao believes this a little, but not much. In his mind, if a criminal were really arrogant enough to clean a crime tool in public, they would be crazy. Either they'd kill him and take him hostage, or they'd run. But now, the other party is clearly scared. Of course, you can't rule out the possibility of him being a coward or hiding something. You beast. You were so sure just now. This car is yours. Now you want to go back on it, Outyan? Oh wait, Outyan the dog. I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. You must face legal sanctions. It's too late to regret now. The viewers are furious. The number of online viewers is rising like a rocket, reaching a terrifying number of over 20,000 in a blink. This is something that many bloggers with millions of fans can't necessarily achieve in a Shi trim. No, this car really, Wang Outyan wants to explain, but he's cut off before he can finish. Don't tell me. Shin Hao waves his hand and says slowly, I'm just a simple, ordinary car washer, not a police officer. You don't need to explain anything to me. Good heavens, you really draw the line perfectly. Not a single step over. And simple, ordinary car washer? Say that again, and I might believe you. Wang Outyan opens his mouth, sighing with a dark expression. He just saw Shin Hao rise in a few days, gaining tens of thousands of fans, and got jealous. He just searched through the scrapyard, working hard to find this premium van. He just wanted to make the van more marinated, adding soy sauce, oyster sauce, chili oil, and stinky seafood water. What did he do wrong? How did he become a criminal without knowing it? Maybe I should run? Wang Outyan suddenly has this thought. His mind is almost full of it now. It's like there are 100,000 questions swirling in his head. The most absurd part is that the evidence is solid. Just look at the scene inside that car. He wouldn't be able to explain it even with 100 mouths. His eyes darted subconsciously toward the rolling shutter door, as if it held an irresistible attraction for him. If I ignore my injuries, I could probably ram it open. Run, he had to run. Wang Outyan didn't hesitate. He bolted toward the exit. Damn, he's trying to run. Stop him, streamer. The viewers in the live stream were stunned. Get back here. Shin Hao had been ready for this rat. Seeing him try to flee, he stepped forward, lunging in a single bound. To everyone's SOC, he caught up instantly. He swept his leg right into the back of the guy's knees. Wang Outyan felt his legs go weak. He couldn't help but drop to his knees. Shin Hao was quick and decisive. With a shove and a firm back throw, thud. Wang Outyan landed perfectly on his knees at the door. He looked almost comically obedient. Whose subordinate is this? Brother Hao, and you said you didn't know martial arts? Damn, that's speed and power. I wouldn't believe you if you said you'd never killed anyone. That was such a smooth, fluid move. The audience was dumbfounded. Ding. Congratulations, post. You gained 1,000 reputation. Ding. Congratulations, post. You gained 1,500 reputation. Shin Hao smiled slightly. He opened the door. Wee woo, wee woo. The urgent sound of police sirens echoed from afar. The flashing red and blue lights were blinding even in the daylight, illuminating everything. They also lit up Wang Outyan's pale, terrified face. Wait, you guys are actually serious? Isn't this just a script? Is it possible the police are just actors? If you had even a shred of intelligence, you wouldn't say something like that. The veteran viewers were still reeling from Shin Hao's clean and efficient takedown. Meanwhile, the new viewers were left completely stunned. What happened to the script you guys promised? You actually went and called the police. That means everything in the van was real, too. Thinking of that, many felt a chill run down their spines. It was like playing a game of hide and seek, only to find a real ghost at the end. Who wouldn't be scared? Ding. Congratulations, post. You gained 1,000 reputation. Ding. Congratulations, post. You gained 1,500 reputation. Thump, thump, thump. Rapid footsteps approached. A dozen officers in uniform marched in. Their faces serious and the atmosphere heavy. Well, it's not a holiday or a festival. Why all the formal greetings? We really can't handle such an honor. Wang Chao saw Wang Outyan kneeling and paused. He walked past him. Hello, Mr. Qin. Thank you for your timely discovery. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Wang Chao. Wang Chao reached out with a smile. The one from the livestream? Shin Hao felt the name sounded familiar. He said subconsciously, I don't know if this counts as an online friend meeting, though it's a bit unconventional. Right, actually, when I saw this van, I knew something was wrong, because this van is linked to a case from a few days ago. Of course, your ability to spot it while washing the car is truly remarkable. Just then, the officers checking the van walked over. Captain, it's definitely that van. Officer, I'm innocent. I'm really not a criminal. Wang Outyan dropped his previous arrogance. He shouted, it's a joke. If I don't explain now, it'll be too late. He tried to run earlier, so I kicked him in the heat of the moment. Shin Hao looked at Wang Outyan, who was still kneeling on the ground, feeling awkward. How can you call that a kick? That's assisting the police. He was fleeing from justice. Audience, as expected of the police, so eloquent. Mr. Qin, is it convenient for you? Can we borrow this space for a few minutes? Sure, but should I turn off the live stream? Shin Hao nodded without hesitation. Cooperating with the police is the right thing to do. Besides, he was curious about the situation himself. Streamer, I advise you to be kind. I've been trying my best to stay quiet. How did you remember you were still streaming? Is it possible for a normal person not to have a camera on their head? Wang Chao waved his hand. It's fine. Actually, this case isn't complicated. Basically, a few men were driven by lust, kidnapped a girl, and she resisted. She struggled hard, and in their panic, they killed her without mercy. This is already in the news, so there's nothing we can't talk about.
All the suspects have been apprehended.
Now, we're just missing the murder weapon and the exact location. Of course, it would be better if the next part is muted. Xinhao nodded, ignoring the viewer's wails. He muted as she trimmed. Go ahead. Where did you get this van? Wang Chao looked at Wang Outyan with a stern expression. A scrapyard that deals in used goods. Officer, I really didn't kill anyone. This van isn't even mine. Wang Outyan confessed honestly. Outyan, for now, you're just a suspect. If you were confirmed to be the criminal, the questioning wouldn't be happening here. Wang Chao shook his head with a faint smile and continued. But we'll need your cooperation. Wang Outyan, I'll cooperate. I'll definitely cooperate. Then, Wang Chao asked a few more questions. Shortly after, the officers prepared to take him to the police car. It seemed that until they figured everything out, he wouldn't be clearing his name anytime soon. Wait, Xinhao watched the scene, sighing at the unpredictability of life. Someone who was so arrogant just a moment ago was now acting like a submissive child. He casually unmuted the she-trim, but the next moment, he froze. He seemed to have forgotten something important. The officers stopped in their tracks, looking at Xinhao with vigilance. What is it, Mr. Qin? He hasn't paid me yet. This is a small business, officer, viewers. Good heavens, I'm speechless. At a time like this, you're still thinking about money? Should I say you have a good memory? Or that you're bold and meticulous? Or maybe you just love money that much, and you call this a small business? What kind of car wash has the capability to perform a blessing tag worth hundreds of thousands? Ding! Congratulations, host, you've gained 500 reputation. The dozen officers regained their composure, looking blankly at Xinhao, then back at Wang Outyan. They naturally knew what had happened. In the live stream earlier, I'll pay, Wang Outyan realized immediately. He hurried over to Xinhao, bowing and scraping. He scanned the code and paid in one go. 10,000 yuan, not a penny more, not a penny less. Brother Hao, there were a lot of people in the she-trim earlier. What I did today was indeed wrong. I apologize to you. Please don't hold it against me. Although Wang Outyan acted like a big shot online, he wasn't stupid. On the contrary, he was quite smart. Otherwise, he wouldn't have picked a fight with Xinhao, not to mention anything else. If Xinhao had actually washed that van, his crimes would have been much worse. He might have been looking at months in jail. So, Xinhao had indirectly saved him. Thanks. Thinking of this, Wang Outyan looked at Xinhao with gratitude. Audience, you really didn't have to do that. He's actually saying thank you to him. Once, Outyan was arrogant and wild. Jealous of Qin, he sought to rise to fame. He brought the evidence without knowing it. Qin countered and shocked Outyan, 666. When the bot retired from the literary world, I was strongly opposed to it. Looking at the comments in the chat, Xinhao's mouth twitched slightly. Why are the netizens of this generation so talented? Mr. Qin, it's like this. Because we issued a bounty, and although the criminals have all been caught, since we were missing the evidence, we will give you a 20,000 yuan reward. There's also a silk banner, which I expect will arrive tomorrow. Wang Chao watched as Wang Outyan was put into the police car, and said with a smile, Xinhao didn't decline, mainly because he was really short on money right now. Otherwise, he wouldn't have opened this car wash. Even a single van made the place feel crowded. By the way, he tried to flee from justice earlier. Although it's unrelated to this case, I suspect he might be involved in other things. I suggest you look into it carefully. Xinhao still remembered what the fans had said. Relying on his large following, he bullied and disgusted people everywhere. He even spread misinformation about foreign countries, and constantly tried to ride the coattails of trending topics. Take today's incident, for example. If it weren't for the system, he'd have definitely tripped up. His history was full of bad behavior. While not illegal, it was highly immoral. Audience, kid, you sure hold a grudge, but I like it. That's for sure. Wang Chao nodded with a smile, turning to leave. Xinhao looked at the van driving out of the gate, as if he remembered something else. There's one more thing. What? Wang Chao had intended to leave, but stopped immediately upon hearing this. He didn't dare to underestimate Xinhao. Being able to spot the details inside the car in such a short time, that's not something an ordinary person can do. The audience was also curious about what Xinhao discovered. This car probably hasn't passed its annual inspection. It's falling apart, leaking oil, and losing parts. Doesn't that count as a dangerous vehicle? Xinhao looked at the puddle of black oil and parts on the floor, along with the rust, and said leisurely, Wang Outyan is driving a dangerous vehicle on the road, disregarding his own safety and the safety of others. He has violated traffic laws. You really know how to sell personal scores. Dog head emoji. What do you mean? Can you call this settling a personal score? This is, hearing your words is like Zhuangzhou using Purify. In the livestream, the audience laughed their heads off. At the same time, they felt sad for Wang Outyan's future. You said you had to provoke someone. Why did you have to provoke this guy? But wasn't Xinhao right? He was very right, full of positive energy. With all the things Wang Outyan has done, maybe they really could dig up some illegal activities. Even if there's nothing else. He definitely can't escape the road safety laws. He's 100% in violation. Wang Chao regained his composure, gave Xinhao a strange look, nodded, and then walked away quickly. He felt that this streamer seemed like a sunny, pet pie boy. But in reality, he was a master at kicking people while they were down. Of course, the one being kicked was a suspect, so he didn't feel any resentment. He even wanted to applaud. Another day of punishing evil and promoting good. I feel like my red scarf is shining brighter today. Xinhao subconsciously touched his collar, sighing slightly. Ding. Congratulations, host, you've gained 800 reputation. Ding. Congratulations, host, you've gained 1,000 reputation. System notifications kept ringing in his mind. Xinhao checked the time. After all this trouble, it was already past 4 in the afternoon. Alright, brothers, that's it for today's she-trim. Let's see you all tomorrow. Actually, he didn't want to end it, since the traffic was so good, but too much had happened today, and he needed to clear his head. Well, the earnings aren't bad. Xinhao opened the live stream backend, and discovered that his earnings for the afternoon, with all the various gifts combined, totaled a full 5,000 yuan. 5,000 yuan in one afternoon. You can imagine how lucrative streaming is. However, Xinhao was also very clear-headed. Things like today were rare and hard to come by. Just a one-time deal. His follower count had also increased significantly. From around 40,000 to over 80,000, it had doubled. Sigh, it's not the end of the month yet, so I can't withdraw it. Xinhao shook his head, not taking it to heart. Money that isn't in your pocket isn't yours yet. Then, he turned his attention to the system interface. This was the most important thing. Host Xinhao. Skill, keen insight, beginner level grappling. Strength, 58. Speed, 55. Note, most people's physical state is sub-healthy. The standard is 60. Xinhao looked directly at the reputation points. 9,800 reputation. He didn't know how the system calculated it. There were plenty of people in the live stream, but he only had 9,800 reputation. Before opening the system store, he hadn't had time to see how much things cost. Damn. Xinhao looked closely, and was stunned. Beginner 50,000 reputation. Strength pill, 30,000 reputation.
Various other skills.
Beginner or entry level were 50,000 reputation, while intermediate ones required 200,000. As for advanced ones, he didn't dare look. Hearing his heart couldn't take it. Great, perfect. 9,800 reputation, can't buy anything.
Xin Hao wasn't disappointed.
After all, it had only been one afternoon. He closed the shop and prepared to eat.
In a remote place like this,
Except for a few customers in the morning and afternoon, almost no one came at night. Meanwhile, at a police station, name, Wang Aoyan. Gender, Wang Aoyan. He shook his head. Wrong. Look up.
are my features that indistinct?
Male. After investigation, the van case is indeed unrelated to you.
But for the search for the tools in the scrapyard, we still need your cooperation. Wang Chao was expressionless, but excited inside.
Finally, a big case. It wasn't easy. Understood. Wang Aoyan let out a sigh of relief and nodded repeatedly.
Also, the things you did online are dancing on the edge of the law. Tone it down in the future. So, officer,
can I go home for now?
Don't worry.
Hearing this, Wang Chao looked surprised. Go home?
Go home for what?
You broke a dangerous scrap vehicle, disregarding your own and others' safety. As a public figure, you knowingly broke the law. Your live stream incited the masses, which is extremely malicious.
And you still want to go home?
What are you thinking, Wang Aoyan?
Officer, he never expected this.
He thought the most dangerous, jail-worthy crime
would be the van case, but he was fine there.
The online antics were dangerous.
But he only got a warning.
He never thought he'd die on that broken van. Most importantly, that van was one he'd worked hard to find.
He didn't want the better ones.
It was a 1 in a million find.
He wanted to cry but couldn't.
It was truly a twist of fate. Night fell.
Office workers and students went home to eat and rest. And just then,
news about Xin Hao in the police station began to
sweeping across the internet. Men are silent. Women are in tears.
Famous public figure and expert at picking fights.
Gets sent to the police station by a car washer. Is it the loss of morality?
Or the distortion of human nature? The past and present of a van? Shocking.
Influencer's car wash turns out to be a crime tool. The truth you can't believe.
A car washer actually knows martial arts.
In a small car wash.
He pulls out a bloodstain detector worth hundreds of thousands.
Does he have another identity?
Or is he a police undercover?
No way. They're teaming up to fool idiots. Such an obvious script.
Can't be. Would a script dare to let someone play a police officer?
I was in the live stream.
Wang Aoyan went from being arrogant
to weak and pitiful.
It was like a scene from a reality show.
Honestly, I went into the 11 tret, but I got hit with a SOC right at the start.
This isn't a healing or de-stressing channel.
It's a healing in the abstinence sense.
Netizens discussed it excitedly because there are too many scripts and routines now.
Many people didn't believe it, but not all. At least the viewers in the sheet trim believed it.
Do you understand the law? Impersonating an officer.
What kind of nature is that?
They actually gave Xin Hao two very popular titles.
Healing sty and abstinence sty. The next morning, Xin Hao got up and washed up,
ate 2 buns and a bowl of porridge,
and nodded in satisfaction.
Although he got 10,000 yuan from Wang Aoyan yesterday.
He didn't dare spend it recklessly.
In this day and age, 10,000 yuan might not even buy a phone.
As for the bounty Wang Chao mentioned,
he didn't dare think about it. Everyone knows
that government procedures are the slowest. Is it going to take months? Is it by the year? Or, when I have money,
I must move the car wash into the city.
Not even a ghost comes to this place.
Xin Hao walked out of the car wash, looked at the small supermarkets nearby,
and sighed helplessly.
He was on the edge of the city. There weren't many car washes, but there were plenty of bicycle and e-bike repair shops.
He sat on the steps,
bored, and opened his phone. Good heavens.
When he opened his phone,
Xin Hao's eyes widened instantly because several notifications had been pushed to him.
And all of them were related to him.
Healing streamer Xin Hao teaches you how to catch criminals online.
Analyzing Xin Hao's hidden identity. He might be a police undercover.
Xin Hao looked at it with a head full of question marks. Police undercover? When did that happen?
Why does it seem like the whole world knows? But I don't.
But I seem to be famous.
Xin Hao was ecstatic.
Hurrying to open his Oatsao backend.
The number displayed there
made him wonder if he was seeing things.
560,000 followers. And it happened overnight.
System, open personal interface. Xin Hao looked directly at the reputation points.
The number displayed made him gasp.
56,000 reputation points. Not a lot,
but definitely not a small amount for him. So that's how it is.
Only when my reputation spreads can I collect reputation points faster. Xin Hao thought for a moment and immediately started the sheet trim.
If he didn't sheet trim while he was hot,
that would be a waste. Good morning, everyone.
Xin Hao waved with a smile,
and then watched the number of viewers in the sheet trim
start to rise like a rocket.
1,000, 2,000, 10,000.
So he's here.
Streamer, I heard you're a police undercover. Is it true or false?
Nonsense.
Have you ever seen a real car wash?
Opened on the edge of the city? Can this even make money?
It's Xin Hao, you're
Speak properly.
Scolding people isn't polite, brothers.
Actually, I'm not an undercover.
Really, and I have no background. Otherwise, I wouldn't be opening a car wash in a place like this.
Xin Hao explained sincerely, though he figured these guys wouldn't believe him. But he was really in a hurry now.
The number of viewers in the sheet trim stabilized, with over 20,000 viewers early in the morning.
He had to show them something. If there was really no one,
he would just have to watch his own second-hand auto.
Xin Hao pondered secretly.
There's no way so many people would just chat nonsense. Namely, he wasn't good with words. Meanwhile,
on a highway,
an Audi S6 approached from afar,
moving like lightning.
A young man sat in the driver's seat. If Wang Aoyan was a skeleton soldier from the desert,
then this guy was a walking stick. He looked to be in his early 20s, with not an ounce of meat on him.
At first glance, you'd think he was just a skeleton.
Sigh, these people nowadays,
they've really lost their intelligence. Anything goes.
The young man was Chen Tian, a fake-busting blogger.
The only difference was that he didn't tech products, but rather tourist spots, folklore, and influencer shops.
It looked very righteous.
But in reality, it was paid work.
If you paid, he'd praise you.
If you didn't, he'd act rudely
and smear your reputation.
In the most popular internet slang, it's called recharging.
The only thing he felt so about was that, so far, he was missing a catalyst.
Now that Xin Hao is trending,
Mr. Qin is trending now. If I just go get a car wash and it's not clean,
then my traffic will skyrocket. Chen Tian really gets the internet. When everyone is praising, suddenly someone appears to play devil's advocate,
and with solid evidence, they'll take off instantly. As for the police appearing, he personally doesn't really believe it. He's seen too many varied scripts.
Abusing the elderly, divorce via ma, brothers fighting over a woman,
only to end up selling goods. You can believe there are always bold people in this world.
Xin Hao, don't blame me. Only blame yourself for walking into the line of fire.
Chen Tian narrowed his eyes and touched the mini camera on his clothes, muttering, Xin Hao doesn't know that he has invisibly attracted the eyes of many monsters and demons alike. The high-pressure water gun washes the body. Dust and mud falling off in chunks. Polishing white, delicate foam blends with the car body. The snow-like foam quickly washed away. Ah, refreshing. I've decided, I'll go buy a high-pressure water gun later. Washing cars for the neighbors for fry is so satisfying. No, brother, I'm here to watch you catch bad guys. What's there to watch in a car wash? In the Shi trim, those who lie watching car washes and those who don't are deeply polarized. At least half are here for the news and catching criminals. But when they see he's been washing cars all morning, they're disappointed. But some people really lie this way of washing cars. It's very Shi trek relieving and hypnotic. Xiaoqin, I have to say, it has to be you. You wash it so clean, unlike others. A man in his 40s said with a smile. Then come often, sir. Xin Hao nodded, watching the man drive away. Then looked at the Shi trim. Brothers, yesterday was just a coincidence. I'm not an undercover. There are no criminals. If you want to see that, you might be disappointed. Xin Hao explained to the new viewers first, so as not to waste their time. No, although I'm a bit far out here. If you happen to be passing by, it's quite nigh to come for a wash. It only costs 30, definitely cheap. All morning, a few customers came to the shop. Just as he said before, it won't make me rich, but I won't starve. 100 or so a day is no problem. Xin Hao tidied up the wash bay a bit. Checked the time. It's 11, time for lunch. But just then, the sound of an engine came from afar. Screech, an Audi S6 stopped at the door. A guy who looked like he just crawled out of a camp, wearing flip-flops and shorts, opened the door with sunglasses on, then took them off, lifted his sharp chin, nostrils flared, voice flat. I'm Chen Tian. I've heard a lot about you. Hope you don't disappoint me. The main thing is, see you. This familiar opening line. Driving in flip-flops is illegal. Xin Hao resisted the urge to cringe, and said softly, I'm talking about the city gate, and you're talking about your hip bone, right? I've slashed from Punlai to the southern gate. 1 slash each. Didn't even blink. You're asking if my eyes are dry? It's my first time knowing driving in flip-flops is illegal. Oh cool. Very educational. Another tip for the day. Whether it's slippers or high heels, some smart aleck will ask, is riding barefoot illegal? Legally speaking, no. In the Shi trim, viewers heard Xin Hao's muttering and couldn't help but laugh. You don't really think you're a cop or undercover, do you? What I wear is my freedom. If I commit a crime, let the police handle me, not you. Chen Tian was triggered. I posed so coolly, just to mess with you and your viewers. And you tell me flip-flops are illegal? Illegal is temporary, but see you is forever. You're right, Xin Hao pondered, feeling he was meddling in others' business, mainly because it's illegal, and it threatens the safety of himself and others. So he subconsciously reminded him, sir, you want to wash? Pull it in then. Xin Hao nodded with a smile. Whether the guest is breaking the law is their business. If a customer comes, serve them with a smile. Do you think this guy has other issues? You mean a criminal? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yesterday was just a coincidence. You think it happens every day? Liuzhou Traffic Bureau captain followed you. Viewers, first Captain Wang from the police. Then the streamer catches a criminal. Now the Traffic Bureau follows. Of course, though we think that. Most don't think there's anything fishy. At this point, Chen Tian had pulled the car into the bay. Looking at the shabby environment, Chen Tian shook his head. Bad review. If 10 is perfect, I give it a 2 at most. Service is bad. Customer hasn't even entered. And he says I'm breaking the law. The customer is king. Don't you know that? Only a 1 for that. Everything is automatic these days. And you still need to do it manually? What's the difference from doing it at home? The only difference is you don't have to do the work. Equipment gets a 3 at most. Although he was calculating the score in his head, thinking about what to say for his 60-0, he didn't say it out loud. First, although he suspected yesterday was a script, he wasn't sure. Second, he's direct. Even if Xin Hao's skills were a fluke, it proved he had some moves. He was afraid of getting hit. He's here to troll for views, not to get beaten up. But Xin Hao didn't think that much. He's a simple guy. I'll turn on the high-pressure gun and wash the car body according to procedure, starting from the front. Of course, that's a personal habit, and Xin Hao's habit is to wash the front first. Zzz, the powerful water hits the front. Yellow mud flowing down. Xin Hao squatted down, preparing to wash under the bumper. Although the guy's driving is illegal, since he's a customer, I can't slack off. Business is business. But just then, the familiar prompt appeared again. Xin Hao froze. No way. Could it be that coincidental? When he saw the prompt clearly, he breathed a sigh of relief. Front bumper impact marks. Repainted. Male fingerprints. Handprints. That's normal. Xin Hao nodded. As the saying goes, not to mention this brother's improper attire. Even if he were dressed properly, accidents happen. See, how could there be so many crimes in the world? Xin Hao smiled bitterly. Yesterday's events must have made him a bit tense. He steadied himself and continued washing the dust off the hood. Under the water, it shone like new. Ah! That's the stuff. Everything is normal this morning. No criminals so far. No, brother, are you obsessed? This is just a simple car wash Shi trim. Where would there be so many criminals? In the Shi trim, viewers watched with interest, especially during lunchtime. Many office workers and students are on break. Who can refuse to watch a satisfying car wash while eating lunch? So the viewer count didn't drop. It went up. A car wash Shi trim with nearly 40,000 viewers. But Xin Hao didn't have time to care, because the prompt appeared again. Hood, male handprint marks, half-body impact, necklace, watch imprint, large bloodstains, blood type O, saliva. Maybe you lop your car, but please don't stop, because it's sick. The hood was violently corrected. Male, about 35 to 40 years old. Smoker, serious illness, severe rhinitis, tuberculosis, hepatitis, hand-foot-mouth disease. Warning, hepatitis and hand-foot-mouth are contagious via saliva. Children, no smoking. Xin Hao was stunned. He even wondered if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Otherwise, how could it be so stupid? Or maybe if you don't go to the hospital. You never know how many sick people there are. The most absurd part. Does this guy have too many diseases? Is there any part of him that's healthy? Xin Hao stopped decisively, looking at Chen Tian, who was standing by, idling like a ghost, always hovering around him. Brother, I need to confirm, is this car yours? Duh, if it's not mine, is it yours? Just wash it.
Seriously, your place is really shabby. Not even a lounge. Doesn't seem lie what they say online. Not as good as the hype. Chen Tian waved his hand impatiently.
He had enough material.
He had already simulated it in his head.
The perfect title.
Shocking. The secret's hidden in this undercover car wash. The bot is someone you can't imagine. Once this title is out, it'll be a top search for sure. However, while he was dreaming of going viral,
becoming a top streamer, reaping fans,
the sheet trim was quiet. He's here. He asked that question again. Newbies, what question? Obviously, is this car yours? If there's no problem, do you think Brother Hao would ask? Here comes the show. The non-abstinent streamer Qin Hao is here. New viewers, do the viewers here have some kind of disease? But they don't know. The traffic and police captains watching Qin Hao were resisting that familiar expression, that familiar phrase. Could he have found something again? You know, this car wash is actually interesting. Makes people feel relaxed. At the traffic bureau, a man in his 30s looked at his phone with a smile. Mahan, one of the traffic captains. The traffic bureau isn't as fry as the police. There's a lot to do every day. Maybe many people don't believe it, but traffic accidents happen every second. Maybe in the time it takes you to sneeze or fart. Many accidents have happened globally. Let's go to Qin Hao's place later. Your traffic bureau got some benefits this time. At least thank him. Wang Chao looked at Mahan. They had the banner and bonus ready. Because of Wang Aoyan's special case, this time it wasn't just the police handling it. The traffic bureau was involved too. Oh cool, let's go together. Mahan followed Qin Hao on his phone, a gesture of goodwill. Just as he wanted to close it, he froze. A young man in flip-flops appeared on his screen. What made him happy was, Qin Hao said driving in flip-flops is illegal, but what made him unhappy was, the young man was defiant. That's intolerable. Young people these days think they can do whatever they want with money? Mahan shook his head, smiling. Didn't you say if you commit a crime, let the police handle you? Let's go. Qin Hao didn't know his sheet trim was being watched by the police and traffic bureau. Of course, he's just a simple car washer. Even if he knew, he wouldn't care. Right now, hearing Chen Tian's arrogant words, he just nodded calmly. He believed the guy wouldn't be arrogant for long because the evidence was written all over the car. But to be sure, he opened the door to continue washing. The high-pressure gun started cleaning the dusty seats inside. It was lie being sliced. Soon becoming clean as new. OCD people must wash. Wait, Brother Hao asked that question. Why keep washing? Hey, I think you guys are too sensitive. He's just asking as a routine. In the sheet trim, viewers were debating. Old viewers were suspicious. New ones didn't care. The back seat was cleaned quickly. Moving to the driver's seat, the efficient machine glided over the seat. Based on the info from outside, it should be a car accident. Wonder if the car was totaled. Qin Hao already had a guess. Although the flip-flops had nothing to do with him, the accident did. Just as Qin Hao took a towel to wipe the steering wheel, the familiar prompt appeared again. This time, it shocked him. Steering wheel, human blood, fabric fibers, skin debris. Blood type O, fabric, cotton. Looking at this prompt, Qin Hao could almost imagine the scene. A dark, windy night. Chen Tian accidentally hit someone. But he didn't run. He got out to track. Seeing the guy covered in blood, he carried him into the car to go to the hospital. Although the guy talks tough, he seems like a decent guy. At least he didn't leave him behind. But something felt wrong. Qin Hao frowned. His hands didn't stop. Soon he washed the gas and brake area. Floor mat muddy. 6 short male hairs, oily, multiple male bloody footprints, size 43. Qin Hao stopped slowly. He realized what was wrong. First, he washed the back seat. But there were no bloodstains there. How could a seriously injured person, covered in blood, be put in the passenger seat? Shouldn't they be in the back? Thinking of this, Qin Hao immediately left the driver's seat and went to the passenger side, moving fast but carefully. Soon the seat was clean. Wait, I see Brother Hao's expression is very serious. I knew for the previous guests. Why didn't Brother Hao ask if it was their car? Is this another murder tool? In the sheet trim, viewers saw Qin Hao's expression change clearly. Qin Hao took a long breath. Even though he was 100% sure, he still held on to a glimmer of hope, because it might involve a life. There's blood on the steering wheel, which means after Chen Tian hit someone, he definitely got out to track. Qin Hao narrowed his eyes, analyzing quickly. Having encountered a crime tool once, he was calmer. But there were no bloodstains on the passenger or back seats. There are only 2 possibilities. First, Chen Tian saw the guy wouldn't make it and fled in fear. The second is more terrifying. Qin Hao's eyes locked onto the trunk. TSK, you know, although your place is shabby and you're not great, your craft is oku. Then, Chen Tian walked over. Looking at the passenger and back seats, clean, couldn't find any faults. Of course, I'm a professional. Qin Hao gave him a meaningful look, smiled and nodded, then went to the trunk. He took a deep breath and grabbed the gun, but just as he touched it, the prompt appeared. Trunk handle, many fingernail marks, 2 O-type blood handprints, watch and ring impact marks, lots of O-type blood. Sure enough, although the system's prompt was speechless, Qin Hao's heart was cold. Without a word, he opened the trunk. Instantly, a strange smell hit his nose. If he hadn't been suspicious, he wouldn't have thought much of this faint smell. But now, it was a metallic smell. Qin Hao's eyes were serious. Yesterday, Wang Aoyan's van had a faint metallic smell, but he didn't think much of it then. After all, the car was rusty. This time, he was sure blood has a metallic smell, and because of fermentation, it was a bit stinky. He didn't waste time, took the cleaning machine and started washing. Watching the prompt. However, as soon as the machine touched the inside, the prompts exploded. One after another, flashing out. Brothers, I suspect this car has a soul ring. Qin Hao gasped, subconsciously saying, can anyone explain what a soul ring is? You don't get it? Congratulations on entering soul navigation mode. You guys have some moves. Many viewers didn't understand, but with some explanations, everyone realized. They were terrified. This car actually has a soul ring. A soul ring means someone died or was hit by this car. Everything needs evidence. Brother How, it's not just because you say so. New viewers couldn't help it. You really think you're an undercover cop? Do you want to put on a robe and do a ritual? Shen Tian sneered, looking disdainful, his eyes full of mockery. Lie, he was looking at a clown. Seeing him, Xin Hao was confused. The system can't be wrong. Could this car not be his? Otherwise, how big of a heart must he have to have his secret pointed out and still be so calm? I'll ask again. Is this your car? Duh, hurry up. I have things to do. No time to talk nonsense with you. Shen Tian rolled his eyes. Fine. Xin Hao smacked his lips, didn't explain much. The prompts wouldn't go away. Having a soul ring is 100%. The only possibility is this car isn't Shen Tian's. 25 short male hairs. Oily, hasn't washed in 3 days. Slight struggle marks around. Saliva residue, blood residue, fortune-telling residue. A silver ring stuck in the gap. Teeth collision marks. Marks from long-term sunflower seed eating. A man about 34 years old. 1.75 to 1.78 meters tall. Based on fiber and skincare residue. Not very rich. A man covered in blood, seriously injured. Why would he be in the trunk of a sedan? Xin Hao already had a calculation. It was a dark, windy night. Dark and windy again. A man driving this Audi A6, maybe tired driving, or accidentally hit a 30 to 40-year-old man. Half body hit the hood. Body flew off. The driver panicked and got out. Seeing the guy wouldn't make it, or because there were no cameras around, he turned evil and put him in the trunk. The rest is simple. He's already in the trunk. Do I need to guess? Sigh, didn't expect to run into this again. Xin Hao's expression was complex, sighing. Actually, such things aren't rare. Maybe there are many, but most people clean it up. Average people can't find it. Who told him to have a system? Do I have Conan's constitution? Can you hurry up? I'm in a rush. Shen Tian urged from the side. I know you're in a rush, but don't be, because you might be in more of a rush later. Xin Hao looked at him calmly. Shen Tian. But the next moment, in everyone's shocked eyes, Xin Hao dialed the police. Oh my god, no way. For real? There's actually a case. Is this a scripted show? Anyone with a basic knowledge of the law would never say such things. Do you even know what crimes you're committing? By filing a false report when proceeding officer. The lie she trimmed chat instantly exploded. Shen Tian felt his scalp tingle, although he didn't fully believe it at first, thinking it was all just a script. That was merely a guess. At least he didn't show it on the surface. He acted just like any normal customer needing a car wash. What are you doing? Shen Tian roared. It was hard to tell if he was truly angry or just hiding his own fear. Anyone who has done something wrong never wants to deal with the authorities. Xin Hao glanced at him and said calmly, are you still sure this car is yours? I have officers in my lie she trim right now. Everything you say might be used as evidence. Seeing his calm, confident demeanor, most of the audience started to believe him. Meanwhile, news editors online were watching closely. Short 6DO bloggers were the first to pop the news. Undercover officer strikes again, confirming the identity of the hit-and-run car. Shen Tian is a professional fraudbuster, but he's never really been that popular. Rumors say he takes bribes, but there's no proof. Now, he's finally crashed and burned. As for Xin Hao, he might just become famous for this. Without a doubt, Shen Tian is trending now. The opportunity he dreamed of has arrived, just in a very different way on the lie she trim. The number of viewers rose at an incredible speed. 50,000, 80,000, 90,000. Facing Xin Hao's question, Shen Tian's expression shifted uncertainly. He felt his throat go completely dry. Wee woo. Just then, the sound of sirens came from the distance. But upon hearing those sirens, Shen Tian's panic suddenly turned into calm. Ha! Shen Tian laughed wildly. He even clutched his stomach in the end, tears streaming down his face. Audience, this guy's lost it. It's over, brother Hao. You've driven him insane. Xin Hao was also stunned. Xin Hao, oh Xin Hao, I admit, your performance is excellent. Very perfect, even flawless. The laughter gradually faded. Shen Tian's lips curled upward, wearing a smug smile as he said slowly, but in this script of yours, there is one major loophole. Do you know what it is? I'm all ears. Xin Hao put on an attentive look, mostly because he was afraid he'd actually driven the guy crazy. Too fast. Shen Tian spat out the words with emphasis. Continuing, the police arrived too fast. From the moment you hung up the phone. It's only been 23 minutes. The police arrived, and this is the edge of town. It takes at least 15 minutes from the nearest station. So how could they possibly get here so fast? There's only one possibility. Shen Tian's eyes flashed with the wisdom of someone who's seen it all. That is, the police were already nearby. Or rather, the people you hired to play police were nearby. Silence fell over the scene. Xin Hao felt like a mammoth was trampling his heart. Completely shocked. His eyes were filled with surprise and disbelief. The audience felt their scalps tingling. After a full 10 seconds, the comments exploded like a tidal wave. My god, is this a battle of wits? I'm impressed. No wonder he's a professional fraudbuster. The guy actually has some skills. Am I the only one who thinks something's wrong? Many viewers looked at Shen Tian with admiration. To be able to counterattack in such a passive situation. Impressive. Xin Hao, I have to admit, you really do have some skills, but it's a pity you ran into me. Your lifelong nemesis. Shen Tian watched Xin Hao's shocked expression, smiling calmly. Let me introduce myself. I am a professional fraudbuster. Among all the merchants I know, your acting and script are the best. At the very least, I give this script a 99. But do you know that hiring people to impersonate police is a crime? What a pity. I understand wanting to be famous and make money, but this is the worst way to do it. Xin Hao was silent because his mind was a bit of a mess right now. His head was full of question marks. Why is it lie this? Why is this person's logic so magical? So twisted. The lie she trim was buzzing with activity. Good grief. Brother Hao crashed and burned. TSK. Why still call him Brother Hao? Isn't it obviously a script? I never expected this. Someone would actually hire fake police just to get famous. Simply courting death. Some viewers believed it. Others didn't. But most were just gloating. A bright future, yet he chooses to throw it away. You're probably going to jail to reflect on this. Shen Tian looked at the silent Xin Hao as if he had already accepted his fate and continued to smile calmly. A police car pulled up to the entrance. Wang Chao and Ma Han stepped out. Behind them followed several officers in uniform, but their expressions were very strange. Ever since they got out, they had been watching the lie she trim, especially Xin Hao's unusual behavior, which they had seen clearly. But what they never expected was that Shen Tian would mistake them for fake police. Watching Shen Tian smile calmly at them, the officers looked at each other. My heart aches. Seriously, why do you people do this? Colluding with Qin Hao and playing with fire. Chen Tian looked serious, his tone heavy and filled with disappointment. He stood like a giant in the light, radiating the glow of the moon. Do you know what you're doing? Disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. Qin Hao, Wang Chao, Mahan. Should we play along with your performance now? Or should we keep playing along? That's right, a professional fraudbuster should have this courage. Even if there are a dozen of you, so what? We stand for justice and support Chen Tian.
Just saying.
Officer Wang followed Qin Hao before. That's an officially verified Otsao. New and old viewers in the chat were fighting. The new viewers were confused. Support justice, support Chen Tian. But the old viewers had seen it with their own eyes. Wang Chao's profile picture is Wang Chao himself. This can't be faked. You performed well, but don't perform next time. Wang Chao and Mahan looked at each other, wanting to laugh. But as trained officers, they couldn't. They solemnly took out their police IDs. Hello, Chen Tian, right? I am Wang Chao, a captain from the Liaozhou Police Bureau. And I am Mahan, a captain from the Traffic Bureau. Looking at the IDs in front of him, Chen Tian didn't panic at all. Instead, his eyes were full of pity. Sigh, I thought you were just impersonating police. I didn't expect you to make fake IDs too. You're finished. No one can save you now. Wang Chao, Mahan, and Qin Hao at this moment. Qin Hao just wanted to say, awesome. Chen Tian, you are my eternal god. I thought I was bold enough, but there's always someone bolder. It has to be you. Damn, go track the Liaozhou Police Bureau's official website. My god, it's actually real. Suddenly, some special comments appeared in the chat. The audience was stunned, rushing to switch apps to track. When they saw the information on the official site, they were stunned. Liaozhou Police Bureau announcement. Public figure Wang, driving a scrapped vehicle while live streaming, inciting the masses and spreading false rumors online, provoking and promoting a bad atmosphere on the internet, breaking the law while knowing the law. Liaozhou Police and Traffic Bureau joint investigation. The final results are as follows. 1. Permanently ban Wang's live streaming and Weibo accounts. 2. Revoke driver's license and execute detention. 3. Fine. We thank you, Mr. Qin, for your timely discovery. No one cared about the rest anymore. Everyone was staring straight at the notice, especially the new viewers who were just shouting. We were arguing just a moment ago, saying it was a script and acting, even supporting Chen Tian, and now the police bureau is slapping our faces. Does this kid have some kind of background? Could it be lie the news said? Is Qin Hao an undercover officer? But the next moment, they looked at Chen Tian in the sheet trim, and their expressions became strange. I've seen people looking for death, but never lie this. Does this count as walking straight into the muzzle? Unfortunately, no one on the scene knew. If you don't believe it, you can call the police bureau and verify our badge numbers. Wang Chao's face twitched. Since becoming an officer, this was the first time that after showing his ID, he was still treated as a fake officer. Refusing to give up until you see the coffin? Chen Tian smiled disdainfully, took out his phone, and dialed. Hello, this is the Liaozhou Police Bureau. How can I help you? A gentle woman's voice came through the phone. I've encountered fake police. I want to verify if their IDs are real. Oh, cool. Please state the name and badge number. Wang Chao, 030. And then there was nothing else, because Chen Tian had it on speakerphone. Everyone could hear it clearly. They heard the female officer on the phone say gently, hello, sir. The officer you are inquiring about is real and valid. He is Captain Wang Chao of the Liaozhou Police Bureau. Is there anything else you need help with, Chen Tian? Is there a hole? Can you take me away? The police bureau even issued a notice. Could it still be fake? Where are the people who were shouting? No, brothers. That's not important anymore. The most important thing is, if all this is true, doesn't that mean the car brother Hao mentioned is a hit-and-run car? Ding, congratulations, host, you've gained 1,000 prestige points. Ding, congratulations, host, you've gained 2,000 prestige points. The system notifications rang constantly in Qin Hao's mind. Sir Wang Chao stepped forward, smiling as he patted Chen Tian on the shoulder. Thump, Chen Tian felt like a limp shrimp. All his strength gone, his eyes vacant, and he sat down on the ground. I admit, I was speaking a bit loudly just now. After saying that, Chen Tian suddenly froze. Why did that sound so familiar? Like he'd heard it somewhere before. It's Oku, sir. Having suspicion and judgment is something every citizen should have. We won't be unhappy, nor will we convict you for it. We're actually happy. It shows the public has a sense of vigilance. Wang Chao shook his head with a smile, very magnanimous. Phew, hearing this, Chen Tian let out a long breath and regained his senses. Only then did he realize that in those few dozen seconds, he was drenched as if he'd been pulled out of water. But just then, Chen Tian, you drove a dangerous vehicle. Come with us to the traffic bureau for a while. Mahan stepped forward and said slowly, and you were indifferent to someone's kind warning. Refusing to repent, your behavior is quite bad. Chen Tian sat on the ground, dazed, with nothing to say. However, the many officers no longer paid him any mind. For officers stood guard while others came to Qin Hao. Mr. Qin, here is the banner and reward money we promised you. Qin Hao looked at the 20,000 yuan in the banner, a bit surprised. I didn't expect the police bureau to be so efficient. He thought it would take at least a month. Alright, thank you. By the way, is there a result for yesterday's case? Of course, if it's inconvenient to say, you don't have to. Qin Hao nodded and opened it to look. He saw 8 big characters written on it. Assisting police, outstanding citizen. At the same time, there was information about the Liaozhou Police Bureau below. You're welcome. This is what you deserve. As for that case, it might take a few more days. Of course, the crime scene and evidence are already complete. These few days are for the judicial process. Many officers smiled slightly, then looked at that Audi S6, their eyes shining. Yesterday's case wasn't completely finished yet, and today there's another merit. Qin Hao is simply their lucky star. Of course, whether it's a merit still needs careful verification. Mr. Qin, may we inspect this car? Wang Chao and Mahan looked at Qin Hao. You can't ask me that. After all, it's not my car. You should ask him. Qin Hao pointed at Chen Tian, who was still sitting on the ground. Det, feel free to look. Chen Tian regained his senses and nodded repeatedly. Oko, thank you for your cooperation. The officers nodded, stepped forward, and began to inspect it carefully. There are signs of impact here. Mahan, as the traffic captain, saw the suspicious parts of the car at a glance. Indeed, the bumper clearly has impact marks, and it looks like the result of a violent correction. Wang Chao nodded. The officers checked carefully, afraid of missing any details, but many things couldn't be checked on the spot just like that. It required forensic experts to identify the scene and find find clues. Solving a case was never a one-sided matter for the police, but a joint effort of multiple professions. But listening to their conversation, Chen Tian's face turned deathly pale. Does that mean this car really was involved in an accident? Xin Hao wasn't lying before, nor was he trying to scare him. Brother Hao, as expected of you, I'm not interested in anything else. I just want to know how the person who was hit is doing. No, is this something that can be live-streamed? In the live stream, the audience was dumbfounded. They suddenly felt that in terms of finding clues, Xin Hao seemed more professional than the police. Are you sure you're just a car washer and don't have any other side jobs? It is well known that doctors can save lives, but they can also kill. If a doctor wants to kill, they can be like a professional assassin, because they are the ones who understand human anatomy best. For example, a female forensic student was stabbed by her boyfriend. To get revenge, she stabbed her ex-boyfriend dozens of times and managed to avoid all vital organs. It was classified as a minor injury in the assessment. Just ask, who else is there? Similarly, a criminal or assassin. Finding evidence of a crime is also very simple, because they often notice things that ordinary people don't. The officers were very careful, but their movements were also fast, as they were professionals. They found some hair in the driver's seat, and even found a silver ring in the gap of the trunk. Wang Chao used professional tools to compare the silver ring with the marks on the trunk and the hood, and they matched perfectly. The officers looked at each other, their eyes becoming solemn. They had only been trying their luck, but they didn't expect to actually find evidence. I've already contacted the forensic and identification team. Mr. Qin, do you have any thoughts? Wang Chao subconsciously looked at Xin Hao, feeling some admiration in his heart. If discovering Wang Aotian's van the first time was perhaps a coincidence, but now it definitely wasn't. This young man's observation skills rivaled those of a veteran officer. I'm just an ordinary car washer, so I won't say anything, so as not to disturb your judgment. Xin Hao shook his head. He knew very well what his position was. A car washer discovers a criminal and calls the police. It's that simple. It wasn't that he wanted to hide anything. It was mainly that if he said something, and it affected the police's judgment in case analysis, then the fault would be too great. I just lopped this about Brother Hao. He has a very clear sense of his own position. He's clearly very strong, yet overly cautious. Actually, this is the best way. Saying too much affects the police's judgment. The audience in the Lai Shi trim was discussing it. The only regret was that from beginning to end, they didn't see the license plate number of that car. It was always blurred out. At this time, the forensic and identification team were on their way, and the officers, in order to preserve the scene so it wouldn't be destroyed again, could only stop for the time being. So Mr. Qin, please mute the Shi trim. Xin Hao cooperated and muted the Lai Shi trim. He also took a look at the current number of online viewers. At a glance, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. Looking closely, good grief, he didn't know when, but the number had reached a terrifying 150,000. This was definitely the highest traffic he had since he started streaming. There were plenty of gifts too. Tell me, what's going on with this car? We've checked the reported accident vehicles, and this car of yours isn't on record. Wang Chao and Ma Han looked serious, standing on either side of Chen Tian. I'm innocent. I haven't done anything yet. Chen Tian started to cry out in grievance. Whether you're innocent or not isn't up to you to say. Evidence speaks. Wang Chao shook his head and continued, and the real owner of this car shouldn't be you either. Tell me, what's the relationship? Chen Tian's face changed. His heart was struggling. Just as mentioned before, he was just an unpopular fraudbuster, helping some people who paid for good words. The internet is like that. Before becoming popular, you can't make much money. So how could he afford an Audi A6? For most ordinary people, it counts as a luxury car, at least starting at 300,000 to 400,000 yuan. This is my dad's car. After a long while, Chen Tian slowly spat out a sentence. After saying this, he felt as if he had been drained of all energy. Xin Hao couldn't help but laugh. I've seen people pit their dads, but I've never seen anyone pit their dad like this. You're pitting your dad like this. Does your dad know? Xin Hao asked curiously. Chen Tian glanced at him, remained silent for a moment, and didn't speak. He felt very tired now and just wanted to be destroyed. He suddenly understood why his dad told him before that this car had a small malfunction and needed major repairs, but it had been sitting at home for several days without any repairs, so he didn't take it to heart. The main thing was, he came to bust fraud, so he naturally had to do his best for Xin Hao's sake. After all, he was a well-known fraudbuster online. He couldn't possibly drive his own Beetle, right? Considering many factors. He drove this car over, but who would have thought he'd walk right into the muzzle? Sigh, Dad, you've really screwed me over. You said you hit someone. You should have told me earlier. What major repairs? Are you crazy? Chen Tian couldn't help but roar in his heart. Dad Chen, while he was wallowing in self-pity. The officers weren't idle. They immediately used the address provided by Chen Tian and started contacting the police there. No matter what, they had to control the other party first to prevent them from hearing the news and running away. And if they really wanted to run away, actually, after Chen Tian drove out, the other party would have run away anyway. This had nothing to do with whether Xin Hao was streaming or not. What exactly did Chen Tian say? Why, but Brother Hao looked at him with a wry smile. What exactly did Chen Tian say? Once upon a time, a white rabbit dug up a big radish. Suddenly, a pangolin jumped out and snatched the rabbit's radish. The rabbit angrily said, "What are you doing?" The pangolin said one sentence, and the rabbit died of anger after hearing it. So what exactly did the pangolin say? In the Lai Shi trim, the audience was scratching their heads in anxiety and had even started to entertain themselves. But even so, the number of online viewers didn't drop at all and was actually steadily rising. Some new viewers who had just entered were completely confused. Is live streaming lightus now? Muted, audience entertaining themselves. Creak. Just then, the sound of brakes rang out. Immediately after, everyone saw a group of people in white coats and various police uniforms walking over quickly. After a simple exchange and communication, the people in white coats went to the car and started checking. Xin Hao watched with interest. Honestly, he had only seen this kind of scene on TV. It was his first time seeing it with his own eyes. So about that. Mr. Qin, we've disturbed your business, Wang Chao said with an apologetic look. In order to keep the scene and evidence inside the car from being destroyed again, we have to inspect it here. But don't worry, we will definitely compensate you. Hearing this, Xin Hao waved his hand with a smile. It's fine. Anyway, I don't have much business here. Wang Chao thought about it carefully. It seemed like there were only a few customers all morning, so saying that wasn't wrong. But you can still smile, even with no business. Should I say you're open-minded? Or should I say you've given up on yourself? Chen Guowei, 46 years old. Running a small business isn't exactly getting rich, but at least we're comfortable. We have a son, just over 20, a total deadbeat. I've even thought about having another kid lately. He ignores the family business, obsessed with the internet. If he actually made something of it, fine. It's been 2.5 years, and he has nothing to show for it. Chen, what's wrong with you lately? You seem so preoccupied. His wife, scrolling through videos on her phone, asked curiously. Sigh, it's just our son. He won't study, and he ignores the family business. All he does is mess around online. Chen Guowei lay on the sofa, shaking his head helplessly. If you looked closely, you'd see his dark circles were heavy. He clearly hadn't rested in a long time. Kids have their own destiny. Besides, our family has some assets. In Liuzhou, we aren't rich, but we're set for life. Why worry? The woman rolled her eyes, saying, with his attitude, I'm actually glad he doesn't work here. Otherwise, your money wouldn't be enough to cover his waist. How does that saying go? Don't fear a second generation that plays, fear one with big ambitions. Hearing this, Chen Guowei almost choked on his breath. What kind of talk is that? Is that something a mother should say? Are you really his mother? Just then, the woman gasped in surprise. Rubbing her eyes, she looked delighted. Chen, look, you always say our son is useless, but look, he's on TV. Move. Chen Guowei curled his lip. That kid on TV? If he is, it must be the crime channel. He impatiently craned his neck to look, but with just that one glance, Chen Guowei's pupils dilated instantly. Cold sweat ran from his neck down to his spine. A wave of panic washed over him. He had a secret he hadn't told anyone. 3 days ago, he was exhausted, and his mind was on his son's future, so he lost focus. And when you lose focus while driving, the outcome is clear. He hit someone. He got out to trek immediately. The person was barely breathing, almost certainly dead. After a brief moment of panic, he quickly calmed down. Medical bills, compensation, care costs, all that would ruin him. So he checked the surroundings. There were no cameras. He made a decision he never imagined. Dump the body. He handled everything under the cover of night and returned home to scrub the entire car. But even so, he didn't dare drive that car for a while, mainly out of guilt and to lay low. So he told his family it needed major repairs. But he never expected that kid would take the car out. The car had been gone for a while. Chen Guowei snapped back, pale, his voice trembling. Right, you said the car needed repairs. You haven't fixed it in 2 days, and it looked perfectly fine to me. Plus, our son needed it, so he took it. What's wrong with you? As she spoke, the woman noticed his odd behavior, frowning immediately. Though her husband was getting on in years, and his stamina wasn't what it used to be, maybe a bit weak, he shouldn't be this bad, sitting there, sweating like that. But Chen Guowei couldn't care less about that now. His eyes were glued to the screen, especially when he saw the police arrive. Only 2 words filled his mind. It's over. My son ruined me. I've never seen such a son who ruins his father. He didn't know if he'd be on the crime channel, but he figured he definitely would be. Bang, bang, bang. Just as Chen Guowei debated whether to run, a knock sounded at the door. Who is it? Hello, community service. The woman got up and walked to the door. Chen Guowei looked at his wife's back and opened his mouth, but eventually just sighed. He knew he couldn't run. The police had already locked onto the target. In an age of cameras everywhere, where could he go? Ultimately, he wasn't a hardened criminal. Before the accident, he was just an ordinary man. A rush of footsteps followed. Chen Guowei, you're suspected of intentional homicide. Before him stood a dozen police officers. Will you confess here, or at the station? The woman was stunned, looking at her husband in disbelief. Chen Guowei straightened his clothes, rising slowly. He wasn't a pushover. After dumping the body, he had considered every possible outcome, including the chance of being caught. And he was confident in his cleanup. Even if there were bloodstains, so what? What does that prove? Does it prove he killed someone? No. As long as they have no hard evidence, they can't convict him. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. Chen Guowei smiled, calm and composed. At the car wash, Xinhao watched the forensics team put on white gloves and start working. He was expectant. So far, no precise comparison had been made. Who would find more accurate info, the system or the police? But he leaned toward the system. Not that the forensics team wasn't good, but humans have emotions and blind spots. They have subjective bias. The system is different. Victim, male, short hair, age between 30 and 40. Impact on the bumper. Inertia caused the body to hit the hood then fly off. Speed wasn't particularly high. Driver checked the car. Blood on the gas and brake pedals. Footprint size, 43. Bloodstains on the hood. Imprints of a ring and watch. Xinhao overheard the forensics team talking. The more he heard, the more surprised he was. Sure enough, even without a system, they were still this impressive. He had never been arrogant, nor had he let the system make him feel inflated, thinking everyone else was beneath him. Because his abilities were system-given bugs, they had real talent. He just got lucky and took a shortcut. Ding, ding, ding. Wang Chao's phone rang. Hello. Wang Chao glanced at it, answering with a serious expression. Captain, we caught the suspect. Name is Chen Guowei, 46 years old. Should we bring him to you or the station? It was a young officer's voice. Did he confess? Where's the victim? No. Wang Chao sneered. Of course. As long as they aren't stupid, they won't confess. He knew this well. Every criminal is confident in their crime, thinking it's perfect and refusing to talk unless the evidence is right in front of them, because if they don't confess and the police can't find evidence, they might get out. Once they confess, the outcome is clear. Bring him to the station. Wang Chao hung up. To make such a judgment after an accident, instead of panicking and driving away, clearly, the guy had some nerve. He probably thought he was fully prepared. At least, that's what he believed. Wang Chao muttered to himself. Well, did he confess? Ma Han leaned in, asking quietly. No, not surprised. Wang Chao nodded. Even if they don't see big cases often, they still had professional standards. Indeed, most people in an accident have 2 reactions. First, panic and flee, leaving the victim. Second, take the victim to the hospital. Only the cold-blooded and calculated would think to dispose of the victim, dumping the body. Ma Han, a traffic police officer, nodded in agreement. Then both looked at the forensics team, full of anticipation. Though they found many clues, unfortunately, nothing could directly identify the victim. Just a silver ring and some bloodstains. It wasn't enough. Thinking about it, their brows furrowed. Mr. Qin, I'm Zhang Long. I hear your observation is sharp. Could you tell us what you've found? Zhang Long, the forensic expert, walked over, smiling and waving his hand, indicating he couldn't shake hands with gloves on. It was a gesture of goodwill. After all, 2 cases in 2 days was worth their attention. Forget it. My input might affect your judgment. Xinhao shook his head. If just a few words could affect our judgment, we wouldn't be fit to be forensic experts, would we? Zhang Long smiled and continued. Maybe your findings could give us a hint. Wang Chao's eyes lit up. Xinhao's observation was well known. Maybe he could provide valuable clues. Mr. Qin, please, say something. Fine, I'll say a few words. Xinhao hesitated, seeing all the officers looking at him expectantly. He nodded helplessly. I'll just say it. You just listen. If I'm wrong, just take it as a joke. He walked to the trunk, pointing at the scratches. These scratches were left by the victim. That proves the victim was still alive when put in the trunk.
Hearing this, the officers and experts nodded. They weren't surprised, as they had noticed it immediately. If he was still alive, he would have struggled. There's a bite mark here. Did you notice it? Xinhao pointed to a spot inside and continued. It's neat but shallow. That means he had no strength left. But look closely. There's a tiny chip in the tooth mark. Zhang Long and the Tim exchanged looks, gasping in surprise. It's not that they hadn't seen it, but they were surprised Xinhao saw the scratches, which they expected. But noticing the tooth mark was unexpected. Even rookie experts couldn't see that. It was too subtle. After all, among all the scratches, who would notice a few tiny dots? Impressive. Anything else? Wang Chao and the others looked at Xinhao with admiration and deep anticipation. The victim must have been struggling financially, or was very frugal. But before Xinhao could finish, Zhang Long interrupted. Mr. Qin, how did you determine that? Simple. Xinhao shrugged and said slowly. First, the victim's hair was oily. He hadn't washed it in 3 days. Usually, rich people or those who care about hygiene wouldn't go without washing their hair. 3 days of oil is enough to fry a dish. Everyone, that's a great description. Please don't describe it like that again. Also, he used Dabeo skin cream. You can buy 2 bottles for $10 online. Of course, these 2 points don't prove poverty. Maybe he's just unhygienic and likes old brands. But most importantly, Xinhao paused. The reason he didn't say it before was to avoid influencing the police. Since both the police and experts wanted him to speak, he wouldn't hold back. Otherwise, it would seem pretentious, and it could help them solve the case faster. Why not? Watching Xinhao speak so confidently, Chen Tian was in despair. This guy really is an undercover cop. Brother Hao, please turn on your mic. Thanks for the support. I'm not deaf or mute. Wait, brothers, what are you watching? Is this a new way to Shi Trim? In the mute Shi Trim, viewers watched Xinhao talking, as if he were communicating with the police. New viewers were confused, including some Gen Z kids. They felt the world had changed. We haven't even grown up, and we're already old? Is the world changing this fast? We can't keep up with the trends. What's most important? But Wang Chao, Ma Han, and Zhang Long didn't care about that. Their eyes were fixed on Xinhao. The info he mentioned earlier, they had already found in a short time. But the Dabeo stuff, they hadn't found that. Mainly because it's different from bloodstains. Easier to clean and harder to find. Most importantly, the victim had an illness. Of course, that's not an insult. He was actually sick. Xinhao shrugged and said, and quite a few. If you follow these clues, you should be able to identify the victim soon. The officers looked at Xinhao with strange expressions, their brains buzzing. Damn, we just wanted you to say a few words. And you tell us the victim was sick? You could see that? That's a bit too ridiculous. We wanted you to use scientific methods, not metaphysics. Mr. Qin, as far as I know, you didn't use any equipment earlier. How did you know the victim was sick? Zhang Long, the expert, was baffled. Even if he only extracted some blood, he couldn't tell at a glance. Are you kidding me? How could you see that? You don't believe me? Xinhao raised an eyebrow, smiling and waving his hand. Wait, then they saw him walk into the equipment room and quickly bring something out. The experts saw what was in his hand, and their eyes widened. A blood disease analyzer. You have this? The experts were stunned. This thing is too advanced. Usually, only top hospitals in big cities have it. The price is also very beautiful. One machine costs over 10 million, and it's very bulky. Fixed in one place. They'd seen ones like Xinhao's, but the price. What is a blood disease analyzer? Wang Chao asked quietly. Simply put, a drop of blood can analyze what diseases are in the blood. After all, the human body circulates through blood, so any illness in the body can basically show up in the blood. Zhang Long thought for a moment, giving an easy-to-understand explanation. It costs over 10 million, maybe more. Even top hospitals might not have one. The key is, it's restricted for import. Hard to get. Wang Chao and Ma Han, netizens always said Xinhao had a side job, but they knew it was just a joke. But now they were really suspicious. UV bloodstain detector. They could understand. Used for deep cleaning. That was Xinhao's explanation. But a blood disease analyzer is a bit much. What kind of car wash checks for diseases? Is it that strange? Xinhao looked at them, confused. I'm a car washer. While washing, I track the customer's health. It ensures they have a perfect, safe driving state. Isn't that normal? The officers, is this normal? Is your service too good? Or are we overreacting? Especially seeing Xinhao's. This is normal look. The officers were bewildered. Is the car wash industry this advanced now? Anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's scan with the bloodstain detector. Xinhao shook his head and started operating it. He tried not to get too close to the Audi A6, avoiding disturbing the scene. Soon, everyone saw the car's true state. Under the UV light, all traces were revealed. Especially bloodstains. You think you washed it off. But with special tools, nothing is hidden. Clearly, Chen Guowei didn't know this. Didn't know to use special chemicals to clean it. Thinking water was enough. The viewers, who were just joking around, gasped when they saw the glowing car. Old viewers were getting used to it, but new viewers were stunned. What is that? What's that glowing stuff? Lie stars. Why does it look familiar? It's blood, you kids. That's blood. Don't you get it yet? This is a crime scene. In the Shi Trim, viewers' attention was locked on the car. Under the UV detector, all traces on the car were revealed. Chen Tian was stunned, his body trembling uncontrollably. His mind was blank. On the hood of the Audi A6, a galaxy of stars was flickering. As Xinhao moved, the driver's seat, steering wheel, brake, and gas also glowed. Finally, he reached the trunk. This was the worst area, especially near the handle. 2 bloody handprints were glaring. Inside, a clear human outline was visible. The police and experts were expressionless. They were somewhat used to this, but they had the worst suspicion. Severe blood loss, not taken to the hospital, but put in the trunk. The result is clear, dead. So they hoped Xinhao was right.
Because that's the only way to quickly identify the victim. The range of illnesses narrowed things down. Sure enough, he didn't disappoint. Looking at the Audi, Wang Chao's heart pounded. If they could find clues on the spot, that would be the best result. Identify the target faster, find the victim, clear the injustice, and bring the criminal to justice. Though the police could find it eventually, it would take too long, especially with an uncooperative suspect. Can this bloodstain be detected by the analyzer? I thought it needed fresh blood. Seeing Qin Hao pick up the analyzer, Zhang Long asked. Ah, mine is quite advanced. Qin Hao replied awkwardly. Could he say it was from the system? Please don't compare it to real-world tech. Where did you buy this? I thought it was restricted. Many big hospitals can't even get one. Got any more? Qin Hao raised an eyebrow. He really didn't know. He hadn't dealt with this before. He checked yesterday. One machine costs 200,000 reputation points. For him, that's definitely not a small amount. Not now, but maybe later. Qin Hao said slowly. Fine, let us know when you have more. Don't worry. The price will satisfy you. Zhang Long nodded repeatedly. A portable blood disease analyzer that can detect from bloodstains? Too precious. As for the source, he didn't care. Everyone has their own ways. Just as they were discussing, the instrument in Qin Hao's hand beat. Everyone crowded around, eyes wide, gasping in SOC. They all looked at Qin Hao. Every officer and expert looked shocked and complex. He was right. The victim really had diseases. And as Qin Hao said, quite a few. Ding. Congratulations, post 1,000 reputation points. Ding. Congratulations, post 3,000 reputation points. Ding. Nasopharyngitis, tuberculosis, hepatitis, hand-foot-mouth disease. Wow, 4 diseases. If that's the case, identifying the victim should be easy. Zhang Long and the coroners couldn't help but smile, though they knew they shouldn't feel this way. Truth be told, the victim had quite a few ailments. With so many illnesses, maybe death was a release for him. Zhang Long sighed, feeling moved. Hey, watch your attitude, Wang Chao said with a stern expression. No matter how sick he was, no one has the right to take his life. He looked at Qin Hao, full of gratitude. Mr. Qin, thank you again for all your help. You've helped the victim as well. Your findings will help us solve this case quickly. Once we have more news, we'll be sure to let you know. Honestly, Qin Hao has been a massive help to them, spotting the anomalies, finding evidence, and